Hey guys, Wonderboat here with the Mag 1 Community Clinic. Now I want to be doing a defensive game, and the best defensive pack here, I think, is the Supply Specialist. Stormcallers are of course a good long-range unit, and Crawlers and this Specialist, you really can't go wrong. And it looks like we will get to play defense here, as my opponent is in Saber, which is, usually an aggressive unit, with the Elite spec. Alright, so he's got some tempo on us. Now on defense, what I like to do, there's two styles, right? You can do this, where you're defending the top and the left simultaneously, or you can do this, which says, I don't mind if you flank me. The Crawlers will all go north, and you just want to make sure you win the front. Now, I'm not sure what's better. I don't play defense a lot, but I'm going to go for this. I just don't want to lose to flanks. At least some will go and defend the Crawlers. And then, you can do a center defense where you have your storms like this, and then everything gets pulled into the center, or you can defend both towers in a symmetrical fashion. I think both have value. I think against Sabers, I'm fine with this. And against his Fangs, we obviously need some chaff clear, so I think we'll keep it simple, go Arclights. I think Hounds make some sense because the Sabers shoot them one at a time. Honestly, I'm kind of tempting myself, but I'll keep it simple and go Arclights. And I'm just going to keep them pretty low here. We're not in a rush to go out and kill those Fangs. They could be a little bit higher, but honestly, they could touch the Stormcallers as well. There's no reason to keep them so far, I would say. Alright, so he does a really defensive opening with that Fang over here. He does a nice screening Crawler in the middle here. It is level 2, because he's elite. And so this will make my chaff clear a little bit slower, right? Arclights don't one-shot level 2 Crawlers. Another thing that's kind of useful sometimes in these defensive Stormcaller games is high explosive anti-tank shells. You only pay 100 and you get so much more DPS, which can really help you against the Sabertooths, especially if they get levels. So just something to be aware of. Ever since we got that buff recently, it's on a lot of people's radars. I even got the storm level, so if I level it and take this, it's like I have the DPS of 4 Stormcallers, basically. It's kind of crazy to think about. So round 2 here, not the highest value cards here. I would say Beacon and Advanced Shield Device are the two things to look at here. The thing is, when am I actually making shields? I don't know, but it's just so good eventually that I think I'll just pick it. And, he's fully chaff and I only have 2 Arclights. I think it makes a lot of sense to continue on that path. I could even get Arclight range due to the, extra 100 that I've made so far. I expect he will not be adding to the right side, but I do recommend you just keep your stuff here because, eventually he might. Another thing that's really strong on defense, of course, is the oil. I like it specifically when I either want to burn them in the following turn or if they have fast units like Steel Balls. It's just not the case here on either point, so no oil yet. We're just going to get that Arclights going. It's really important to get their levels, by the way, especially against Elite. I also like leaving it back a little bit here, just so it hits the flank immediately. And horizontal spread is important. I'm simply going to line it up with this Fang. If you have it too far to the right, what happens is you'll kill a couple Fangs, but then it'll turn and it'll get stuck on the Saber. And so that's why it's kind of important to keep things really lined up with what you want to hit. So yeah, I think this looks good. I actually forgot Upshoot. So if he goes Phoenix, I'm cooked, but oh well. I mean, it's fine. It's not really a bad thing to just develop your chaff clear and lose around. Although I am low on health, so I got to be a little careful. I took a really high quality specialist, so. In any case, he didn't go for it. He goes into Hounds, and yeah, my Arclight here just feels so good. You can see just from 1 Hound kill, he got 1/6 of a level, or a bit less. That's pretty sweet. Once again, we still have that right side pressure, so that can be a powerful component of defense as well. Just having a little bit of pressure on that opposite tower, it just puts a clock on your opponent. And, you always want to divert an aggressive player's resources into something not aggressive. So it's not going too bad for him here. I do think we probably win the round, but looked a little bit better. He deployed some stuff on the flank as well, so not a bad in-between move for him. Hounds as a chaff clear choice, I think, for him is totally fine. Really good on Elite, because level 2 Hounds one-shot crawlers. It looks like we barely get a round win here. Nice. So yeah, we definitely want upshoot here. We got our Arclight levels. You can see how important it was. Okay, now we got some good stuff. So the highest value thing here is, I would say, Firepower. It's just an incredible card that scales well with a lot of DPS units in the game. Deployment module can let you do some interesting aggression. I can probably like cheese this tower with a Stormcaller, for example. Photon Coating, certainly good if you want to like buy a sledge or something like that, which honestly doesn't sound too bad, but I'm going to keep it simple, take the highest quality card here. And I'm going to click on my Stormcallers. This one did 17,000. This one did 13,000, so they're definitely pulling their weight. I think I'll level just the left one. And always take the Arclight levels, especially when you're against these Hounds here. And I'm just doing math to see if I want to equip this Firepower on the Arclight. I mean, that sounds pretty troll, and it probably is pretty troll, but I just wanted to think about it. I'm just going to keep it simple. Buy a Mustang. You know, against Elite especially, there's potential to get a lot of experience. And Mustang plus experience plus item equals profit. And I also recommend always having a Fang vertical to funnel everything into it, which increases your splash damage. And also just, you know, you're protecting yourself against sentry missiles and all that. And, you know, we took this shield improvement card. Maybe it's time to actually use it. You know, the Sabers will do pretty well against it, but I think it's kind of interesting to try tempoing a little bit. We certainly have the money on Supply Specialist. You can see there's his 2 defensive missiles. That's why it's so good. It's so good when aggressive players are forced into doing that. So let's see. We got the blue Stormcaller. Look at this DPS on that. Oh my god. One-shotting the Saber. Super nice. And with the 1 Saber left, I don't think he's going to get our shield. So I'm feeling good about all of this. The Mustang experience, certainly something to watch out for here. We're probably going to get the credit for the Saber kill here, or at least assist. It looked like an assist there. So pretty good round. We get our guaranteed unit reinforcement since the first one occurs between rounds 2 to 4. And let's see. There's air stuff. My upshoot is just Mustangs right now. Typhoon is kind of nice at bullying like these lightweight units. I don't think Boat is like amazing for me. It's fine. I feel like boats are not that good for him either because he's elite and so they're expensive for him to keep buying. I don't know, I kind of like him going, like for him, I think he should go into either like Steel Balls or Typhoon maybe. I'm not 100% sure though. I'm going to buy the Typhoon because it's kind of okay against everything. We'll just put it up here to tank a little bit. And, you know, because Boat was offered, it does make me sweat a little bit, right? So I'm going to just, like, complete my Mustang line. Like, I could even defend here. Yeah, I think I will. And we'll take the range and the Arclight level. So let me discuss this position here. So, of course, this defends the flank. That's already nice. But you can see the arrow here means it's going to go to this tower. And I kind of like this counter aggression I have on the right. Is it slow? Absolutely. But, you know, it still does put a clock on him. And, you know, it would defend me in case he went for a right side attack, which is always possible when unit reinforcements come, right? You get so much deployments at once, they're like, okay, we're attacking the right. So, like having the extra defense there. As it turns out, though, it's just Typhoon for him, buys a Phoenix. I think he added 1 more Hound. So he's got a really, I would say, balanced board at this point, right? 4 Hounds, 2 Sabers, 1 Phoenix, 1 Typhoon. So I think my opponents play pretty well, to be honest. I do like a lot of his moves here. I think the biggest thing I'm lacking is DPS. So you can see, like, killing this Typhoon is just taking forever. I'm sort of relying almost too much on the Stormcaller. Of course, there are ways to counter Stormcallers, like whether that's devices or, you know, a lot of chaff. So getting the Mustang level here is a good part of that DPS increase I need, but we may need to, you know, buy a new carry unit, whether that's buying my own Phoenixes or, you know, maybe a Giant or something. Alright, so nobody has Giants. Don't have to worry about the Steel Ball line. Elite Fang, pretty irrelevant. I actually really like Improved Ball. I think it's a really good card. Wouldn't say it's great into the opponent's board. And then Advanced Defense Tactics, I like it a lot late game. early on you don't benefit much because these buttons are actually like better efficiency. So since I don't have a tanky board, I think I will not pick it. So Steel Ball's tempting, but I think I'll just skip. If I were to take Improved Steel Ball, I'd like do Counter Aggression, I think. So we'll take all the Arclight levels. I think Charge Shot is a really interesting idea here. Like I mentioned, I'm lacking DPS, and they're really good against Hounds, so I'm going to give it a try. I'll take the Mustang level, see if the Stormcaller did well. 0 damage, okay. I think Oil looks really good, but I'm 50 short. And I don't want to undo. I like my turn. So no Oil. We'll just do some chaff. I want the Typhoon to target my Typhoon, I think. Like I could make this, but I don't think that makes sense. Yeah, just more fangs up in front. I think it's totally fine. And we're lacking damage, so we take the attack enhancement. I mean, we may not lack damage anymore. These charge shots should be really good. Okay. Level 2 Sandworm. So in Mechabellum, there's like a critical number, which is not like clearly defined, but like there's a certain number where I feel like, you know, most units don't cut it, right? And I feel like leveled Sandworms pretty quickly go into that territory. And so I'm going to be using something like a Melter, a Steel Ball, you know, Acid, those sort of like crazy high damage stuff. I mean, we're not doing too bad because we just have so much firepower in the area, but, you know, long term, I don't trust that. As he buys more worms, we're just going to get cooked, so. Really happy to take the round win, though. Like, you never want to lose the turn where somebody transitions, I feel. It just doesn't bode well, so. Let's see, more unit reinforcements. Not a huge amount of DPS. Like, you could do Burst Mode Phantom. You could do Charge Shot Void Eyes. But honestly, I'm not super thrilled by them. I think what I'm going to do is get Annoying. I'll do the Farseer as like a, I'm going to get your tower type play for one turn, and then I'll sell it and like, you know, go back to owning the left side, hopefully. So I'm going to take the premium levels. This guy did well enough as well. And yeah, I think it just simply has to be Melter. And if they start spamming Larva on you with those techs on the worm, you can just go multi-melt. It's a really solid response here. I don't think I need range, but it's like probably fine to get it. I think what I will do though is temp range. It feels like it's time, and I'm going to remember that I do have those extra strong bubbles, so not opposed to that whatsoever. I'm actually going to back up this Farseer just 10 meters to get a crawler in front. That's just in case he does the exact same thing. Like if he does stuff on the line, I'm going to be really sad, so. I kind of knew the missile was coming. I probably should have backed my Farseer up to 40 meters away, but whatever. It's all good. So he goes for a Wasp, more Typhoons. Not a huge fan of the Wasp because I already have Mustangs and a Typhoon. Not sure what his logic there is. That's alright. He goes for a second one as well, and yeah, one Typhoon is turning, so that's nice for him. See how the bubbles do. The worm is not running to the... Yes, it is running. Okay, we're locked on. That's great. It is going to burrow, though. But that gives us a chance to kill the wasps. And now we're locked on. It should stay... Oh, he's got sudden strikes, so his DPS is crazy. But thankfully, we took it down. And the Melter levels, you want to take those levels. I would say like it's a fairly good rule of thumb that you want your Melters to be similar or equal in level to opposing giants. I mean, I honestly level Melters most of the time regardless, but I think that rule of thumb is kind of critical. Okay, so Assault Melter is like rarely ever a good card, but I think when you're against worms, it actually makes more sense than ever. But like, I still kind of think it's skippable, but I'll take it. I think it actually is good. So I'm just clicking my units to see whether they're worthy of a level, right? So like Typhoon 60k, sure. I know the Arclights are good without even needing to check. They're just so efficient with these techs. I'm going to rebuy the bubble. I feel like it's got to be good. And I think something else important here is to not get owned by the sandworm. And so you want to keep it above ground. But I feel like that's really hard with all of his high DPS in the area. So Maybe that's too difficult. I'm going to sell the Farseer I mentioned. I think it's really not a good fighter, like long term. Gonna take range on the Assault Melter because it's just, I'm trying to compensate for its lack of now. And we're gonna fortify the tower once just in case. Like once it's late game, you kind of just want to do that, And I think I'll buy another Melter. It may seem like a lot of Melters, but the thing is, Melters are just really good on defense. And I just also like reading that he's going to stay in, Typhoon Worms. But yeah, one of the best defenses in Mechabellum is you fortify your towers, as many times as you deem necessary, sometimes a lot, and then you buy just a ton of multi-melters, that energy absorption tech, or energy diffraction rather. And yeah, I'm set up to do that in case things get out of control. So he parried the right side with a sandworm. That is the downside of selling my Farseer there, is like now I'm losing that side, but basically my read is that, we win the left side in time, so it should be all right. Though it's not looking that good for me here. If I tower fortified one more time, I would be completely fine, but I'm a little exposed here. So double debuff, that's going to be 9 seconds on the right, 7 on the left, so 16-second debuff, really nasty. And with strike, he's going to get me. But we haven't taken many losses this game, so I'm feeling okay. This level 2 is kind of a Giga Chad. He took down the worm, that's nice. Leveled again. And we can start loaning. Like, I probably should have loaned last round. Let's see what we can do here. We get a third wave of unit reinforcements. If I needed acid, Scorpion was there. I feel like I don't, but it still might be the pick. Raidens are good against like almost everything he has, except for like the Wasp and the Sandworm. Doesn't look very cheesable to me. I can do a Vulcan oil play. Sounds pretty tempting, honestly. I'm like not a player to do this at all, but I see high MMR people do it all the time, and like I think I need to get on board. I'm just thinking where I want it. You can click the arrows and get an idea. Like, okay, I'm going to miss this one fang, but I think otherwise I get everything. So I like this. Now, always watch out that your Vulcan has time to actually do the damage, right? Like, he's faced with all these units. So all you do is you simply put a chaff in front, right? Should be more than fine. And then I'll sell the Vulcan on next turn, right? Like, you're just taking it to sell them over time. Now, I'm going to take the energy diffraction. It's a little bit risky in case he goes for his own melters, and then I'm like really outranged and I have to differentiate my build, but and we'll take elite marksman as well. I feel like the levels are just there, Now, the main problem with my play is that I'm not defending my right side tower, so we can take this beacon and just run over, and maybe everything will chase it. That's going to be my hope there. So we'll see how that does. Doing a couple plays that I don't normally do, so see how it goes. Okay, so I messed up my crawler. I was a little bit low on time, but if I flip the crawler to be vertical, maybe 3 crawlers live, and then that play works a little bit better. It probably wouldn't have worked either way, but still, I think I should have played that better. So the game plan for the right side is simply stall. So I took a tower fort and put a fang in front. It still was... It could have been better, but yeah, maybe good enough. We do have some really strong units. Like, we have this level 3 Assault Melter. We have a level 3 Mustang with the item and everything like that, so maybe we can get the job done. Not a lot of chaff clear left. I guess we have the Typhoon and this level 5 Arclight. The Arclights were out of control this game. Really efficient. I'm really glad I took the charge shot. That'll be game. Nice. So that was a nice showcase of defense. We went over some common points. There's still a lot you can learn about defense, like vertical sledges are another great stalling tool, but yeah, multi-melter on the back, like even behind the tower, with fortifies, and then get your vertical fangs out. I think those were the key moments, as well as Arclights. Arclights are excellent defenders in general. This has been Wonderboat with the Mag 1 Community Clinic. Thanks for watching.